What's going on, card collectors? It's Ken with Ken's Cardboard coming at you with a video in my basement in Longmont, Colorado. And he may see something different in my video. You see a figurine here of Mr. Mike Schmidt, Hall of Famer, Hall of Fame third baseman. And with the price of new cards these days, I'm looking at some of the players that I grew up watching, and I'm a Pete Rose fan, and he was with the Reds when I first started watching him, and then he then was traded to the Phillies, or actually, I think he was a free agent, and in 1980, and at that point, I started becoming a Phillies fan. So one of the great stars on the Phillies back in 1980 was Mr. Mike Schmidt, and so I have. Plus, I also like third basemen like Schmidt and Arenado and Bregman and Chapman and Brooks Robinson. So stopped by the LCS a couple days ago, and it's not the LCS that's here close to me. It's a little bit further away down in between Longmont and Denver. This guy, he's old school. He has had a shop for more than 30 years, and he sells more vintage cards, not so many modern cards. And so I thought it'd be a good chance to find some Mike Schmidt cards, because I'm starting to collect a little bit of his cards with the prices of the new cards. Focus on some, already Hall of Famers. So gotta pick up a few things from that era that I loved watching, and Schmidt was one of my favorites. So when I was standing in line, or waiting for him to, not standing in line, but just waiting for him to run my credit card, I saw that he had this figurine on the shelf of Mike Schmidt. And I don't know who made this. I haven't had a chance to look it up yet, but it's of Veteran Stadium. It's a little bit dusty. Got to clean that off. And it's got the red Phillies, like the maroon pinstripes. I got to go to a game one time in Veteran Stadium in 1997, so it was my only time at that stadium, but did make it on my list. And I think this actually rotates. You can rotate this thing, so you can change different angles. But pretty cool figurine. So he gave that to me for free when I was standing there. He said, since you like Schmidt so much, I'll just throw that in. So sure, I'll take it. So, but here's a few cards I picked up from the shop there. Saw this, went through the Trout pile he had, and saw this 2020 or 2019 Allen Ginter Black parallel mini. So had to pick up for the Trout. Can never go wrong getting a Trout. Picked up also this 73 Brooks Robinson. Didn't have that. 73 had some of the first action shots that Topps made. There's a couple in 71, I think, and some 72s, but 73 had a lot more action shots. So, but the pictures are real fuzzy. They didn't use great quality. Interesting design. Not one of my favorites, but didn't have that Brooks Robinson. Then I picked up a couple of Mike Schmidts. Here's a 77. Never had this card before, but little, banged up a little bit, but I don't care. I just wanted to get it in my collection. $3.95. Not too bad. Got a 76 Schmidt, little off center, but little decent corners and such. So just wanted to add that one to the PC. Didn't have that one before. Then I always love this card. I have this card already in my my complete set of 1980 Topps, but I wanted to add this to my Schmidt PC. Crispy little All-Star. I love the ones with the All-Star logos on there. Pretty cool. Then I got the 82. I had this at one time, but sold all my cards back in the late 90s, and this was in that stack of 82s that I got rid of. So I had to re-add that to the PC. Also picked up a couple of Kellogg's. Look at this one. This is a kind of a mini version of I think this is 1980. Yeah, 1980. Kellogg's cereal. Love those 3D looking cards. Then we got this 3D Superstars here as well. This is probably 1981. Yeah, 81. It's a little off center, but only $2. So I thought I might add it to the Schmidt PC. Then I was following online a collector on Instagram, and he's a Mike Schmidt collector, and he has hundreds of autographs. And I just checked to see if he had any duplicates, and he did. So I asked him if he would sell them to me. So he did, and these got a great smoking deal. These are hard Schmidt autographs, are not that affordable. They're still affordable, but they're going up in price. So got this 2005 Origins Baseball Old Judge Mike Schmidt autograph on there from Upper Deck. Pretty cool. This is my first Mike Schmidt autograph in my collection. Great to add that there. Love it. And then we got this really cool here. This is a Topps Finest refractor. This is the Archive series. I don't think it's numbered, but love the Finest design. Got the old chops going there. Late 70s probably. Oh, this is from April 76, so yep, 1976 autograph. Look at that. That's pretty cool. So that's my second Schmidt autograph in my collection. Love that one. That's a beauty. While I was there looking for some other vintage cards, vintage Dodgers specifically, because that's who my dad followed, and that's who I followed a little bit when I was a kid. I grew up in Southern California, so if you're not a Dodgers fan, I guess I could have been an Angels fan, but my dad was a Dodgers fan, so went to some Dodger games. So growing up during the late 70s and early 80s is my era of the Dodgers, and picked up a few cards, some Dodgers back then. Got this 1979 Steve Garvey. Love the All-Star logo, pennant going across there at the bottom. Pretty cool. Just found another Steve Garvey. This is from 76. This has also got the All-Star logo on it. I always remember him being on the All-Stars. And we got another 73. Corners a little banged up on this one, but it's nicely centered, so looks really good. So only 95 cents. Couldn't pass that up for 95 cents. Then I picked up, looking for a vintage card, picked up my first card of this gentleman, Hall of Famer, Don Drysdale, 1964. Beautiful. My first Don Drysdale card. Gotta add that to my Dodgers PC. Got the 64 Koufax in the back there. Pretty cool. Awesome. To add that to my collection. I only paid $20 for that, so I thought that was a good deal. He had one that was a little bit less, but was not as crispy as that one. Then I got this Hall of Famer as well. So I was looking through, when I was looking through the cards boxes, they had these from the 70s and 80s. Above that, they had a $10 off, or not half. It was a half price case, and so he said anything in that case was half price. So picked up my first vintage Dodger from 1957, Pee Wee Reese, $10 for this card. So, this card was loved by somebody. It's got some, been touched many times. Got some rounded corners on it. The image is not super clean on the surface. I'm sure there's a few marks on there, but it was half price. I paid $10 for this. I think I have one other card from 57, but this is my first Pee Wee Reese card. Awesome to have this to my collection. So I'll be going back to that place again to get some more vintage cards. He had some more other Koufaxes and Drysdales. Didn't have any Jackie Robinsons. I think there's a few other Dodger cards that I don't have in my PC that I was going to add to that collection. But like this, I think I'm going to get me a Brooklyn hat because I don't have one of those. And the Rockies, they suck. So Dodgers have a good franchise. And the era of the 50s was probably some of the best baseball that was going on at the time, between the Yankees and Giants and Dodgers in the 50s. Great rivalry, great teams, Hall of Fame players, great World Series. Just probably one of the coolest times in baseball. And so gonna start collecting some cards from that area, because prices of the new stuff is just crazy, and they're not making any more of this either. So thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed looking at some of these vintage cards that I was able to add to my collection. Just pretty cool. Just enjoyed having these. Thanks for watching, and take care. Peace out.